Yeah. I mean, someone turned off our audio. I honestly have no idea who.
Was it you?
No, I really don't know why our audio would be turned off. But anyways,
we're live now.
Sorry about that, Chris. Thanks for letting us know.
Gosh.
Anyways, we had a deal earlier today where we had our first ever roundtable discussion, and
Yes.
it was a fantastic discussion. One that we plan on doing again.
It went great.
So we would love to hear what topics you want to have.
Please send them.
Let us know. Love to hear who you want to have on.
Yep.
Someone said we should do it twice a week. I think that's a little bit too much.
I would love to in theory, but I just don't know if we can practically get that one together. However, if we can manage to do this once a month, I think this could be a great forum for some people to get together, and even maybe twice a month.
Right. I think we will start out at, I think we should go and do it twice a month, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
But at first, we'll have a goal of once a month.
Transition into it a little bit.
Yep.
We'll get rolling.
Especially during legislative session where we have a lot more that we can talk about.
For sure. A lot going on right now.
We can do twice a month.
Yeah, we can
potentially.
Depending on the guests we have, we can rehash some subjects. But again, if there's anything you guys out there want us to talk about, anyone you want to see on the show, let us know in the comments. We'll do our best to get it to happen.
We had what YouTube or in the producing realm they call drop frames on that show. We're sorry about that. The best we can surmise is that it was honestly just poor internet from all the cold and stuff, because we went through settings and we made some changes, but we didn't make enough to really affect even what we're doing today. And so far we have 0 drop frames. So we're sorry about that, but that one was actually outside of our control. Unlike audio problems, which now at this point, we don't even try. We leave stuff the same and something gets changed and I don't even know where it happens anymore.
It is what it is. And we're here. We're live now.
All right. But we got some big things to talk about.
do.
One is the state of the city. Today we had the state of the city as far in regards to Minot. And one of my favorite parts about the state of the city was the cookies.
You loved them. You ate the cookies up.
I ate too many cookies.
They had a great little spread there. It was
it's not about that. Okay.
I was going to mention the pasta.
I know,
I like
but
pasta.
it's not about the great spread. It's not about the desserts.
It's about what was said.
No, it's not about that. When it comes to a cookie, there was cookies on there that I could look at and said, there's not a chance I'm eating that because it has nuts in it probably. And then there was chocolate chip cookies. And I'm down for a good chocolate chip cookie, but it's got to be right. And there was some that sat there and you could tell that they were baked, but they weren't baked too long.
Oh.
And they were just the perfect. They were just so perfect.
Had that little, not they were done, but they weren't all the way done.
And so they were going to be nice and gooey and all that stuff. And so I was able to grab one of those. And
nice moist cookie.
I only got one of them.
Yeah, one, right?
And then I got another one. I actually started out with 2 and then I got 2 more and then nobody else was eating them and I got a few more. You were talking about the spread though.
Yeah, they had a whole bunch. They had a nice salad there, the whole deal.
AGT Foods contributed some pasta.
Did great. I know for sure a chicken Alfredo. I got that. I don't know what the other one was.
It was just regular
spaghetti.
Yeah, spaghetti. Okay. It was a spaghetti type. I think there was some peppers in it too.
Yeah, some nice red sauce. But that's not what we went there for.
We went there to, well, you know what? Based off last year, I think we kind of thought we were going to get something different than what we got. Last year, there was city manager also spoke as well as mayor.
Introduced the mayor, if I'm not mistaken, last year.
Yeah, that's how it went. But he had some words. It wasn't just an introduction because he set a vision of property taxes at that state of the city.
And it was mentioned a lot throughout last year, whether it be during the budget process, all throughout the budget process, frankly, about how at the state of the city last year, their big goal was that city manager Harold Stewart set out was to lower property taxes.
Right. And so the same vision was not cast this year. This year, it felt like there was more of a focus on what Minot has been doing. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't call this being a visionary state of the city. And that was a little bit disappointing in my opinion. But it's something where I'm excited to talk with Mayor about and get some input on that. Because there's got to be some kind of vision. And sometimes, it just feels like you're doing the same thing over and over. So it might be difficult to convey that. But there was a lot of attention drawn to what Minot has been doing and what a great place it's becoming, and has been.
No,
so
without a doubt, it was a lot of optimism of some of the good things that have happened in Minot over the last year. He was talking about It was regional support was a big topic of his that they had. It was
which is interesting.
Yeah, not just Minot succeeding, but the region around Minot succeeding. So getting all of the small towns, the Sawyer, the Glenburns, all to be successful as well, in order for the community of Ward County and the surrounding area to really be successful.
And while I don't have a problem with that, it's an interesting thing at the state of the city, for it to be the focal point. That's what I would say.
And I think that kind of was the focal point.
It was. Yeah, it was based off the
collaboration and teamwork within the city and surrounding city leaders kind of thing.
Yeah. So that's interesting. We are going to be having Alderman Rob Fuller jump on. He'll talk about that later if it works out. Yeah.
No guarantees, but there's a good chance.
If the planning commission goes along, it might not work. And he's also going to be talking about city council meeting that happened on Tuesday. Our region, our future, that was the line that was portrayed at the city, state of the city. And so, yeah, I get it that we're a regional player, and maybe that right there is the thing. My deal is it didn't go deep into enough, because if it's saying we need to start changing our mindset where it's not just Minot anymore, it's the region, and we're getting to the place where we affect the entire region. Now, we've been there at that place for a while, but if that's what we're talking about, then I just think it could have been more articulate.
Yeah,
but like I said, we're going to be sitting down with Mayor, and we're getting a date figured out, and we will hammer out that stuff.
Yeah, and I like that. Like you were saying, I like the idea of getting that whole collaboration thing going with the region, because we are the hub of North Central North Dakota. Minot is a central location. A lot of people come to Minot for all kinds of different shopping concerns, whether it be all kinds of tourist issues. And that's the thing, is he didn't go too in depth on what exactly those collaborations would be, outside of maybe touching a little bit on flood control stuff. Never really dove into how we're going to work together with like Sawyer and those towns. It was mentioned throughout, but kind of just hit a lot of the highlights for the last year in Minot.
Right.
And went through, obviously the new high school opening, Minot North. That's that second phase of the new education system that they're rolling in. This is the 100th year of the Minot Symphony Orchestra. They've been going
Hey, we got a surprise coming for that. We're still working on it.
Oh, we do. Yeah, we do. It's going to be great. You guys are going to love that. I hope they do, at least. I love it. But he was talking, hyping up Minot's tourism role. He went through. The one thing that I thought was a little interesting was talking. He said he was proud of Minot's water, and that we have some of the best water there is. I'm not saying we don't. I just feel like that's not
true.
A general consensus among the population. If you talk to people in Minot often, I don't know if having great water is the first thing they say. I'm not saying that we don't have it. I don't know what constitutes
You're kind of saying
great water.
That.
I'm alluding to it for sure. I don't necessarily hate Minot's water. I've lived it my whole life. I'm used to it. I don't know what it's like.
Yeah.
If it's bad or not. But again, NAS is wrapping up. That's one of those big things. That NAS project is.
If you like Minot's water, comment down below and let us know that you like Minot's water.
Actually, that's a great point. Yes, if Minot does have great water, tell us, and if they don't, also let us know.
Yeah, let us know,
because
we're not sure about that one.
Yeah, and the NAS program, which is a massive water movement program that's been in the works for a long time, it's finally. The end is in sight. If it's not this year, it should be next year. They should be pumping water this year. And what it is, in short, it's a big water movement project to move water from Lake Sakakawea up to Minot and the region up here to make it a major water hub for the region. So we're not just getting water from the ground and groundwater and the Souris River, but we're getting it from Lake Sakakawea, which is a much larger and likely more sustainable long-term source. And I think that'll be a good thing for Minot, but again, have a lot to go wait on for that still.
Yeah.
It's still up in the air.
You want to know one thing that kind of disappointed me?
What's that?
One thing that kind of disappointed me was the turnout that occurred.
Yeah, that's a good point.
This is an opportunity we always talk about city engagement. And if you're a citizen of Minot, this is an opportunity to engage. Mm-hmm. Okay, it was an hour event. It wasn't that long.
It went far shorter than I expected.
I think you were supposed to pay $10, but it was unclear. So you may have been able to get free food.
You could have tried.
Maybe somebody did.
Probably got away with it.
You have an opportunity to talk to your city manager. You have an opportunity to talk to your mayor. You have an opportunity to talk to some other city officials or a councilman. Not all of them were there, but there were some of the council people there. You have an opportunity to talk to these individuals and engage. And so for that reason alone, that would be an encouragement in my mind for people to want to show up at this event. And I've heard that in past years, it felt like it may have been more attended, which is perhaps maybe it felt a little bit last minute this year. As far as the scheduling, I know that the city officials put a lot of time into it, and it was well done.
Yeah, they did a great job.
Yeah, they did a good job. So that's not what I was saying. But yeah, I don't know. That's one area that I was a little bit disappointed. Would have loved to see more residents of Minot show up.
Just a little bit.
Yeah.
Because it was one of the rooms in the facilities in the State Fair Center, so it's a massive room. It's obviously sectioned off a little bit, but we're even, I don't know, maybe they had 40 tables or something. I don't know if half of them were full.
Yeah.
And it was, again, it's at 1 o'clock in the afternoon on a Thursday, so maybe it's not the most timely thing for most people to get off and go to. I don't know if it would have been better if they were having it say right now, but
No, well, they normally, last year they did in the afternoon too.
They did.
It's the right time to do it.
Do you think it's the location, or is it just just the way it worked out this year?
I think it's just the way it worked out. But one thing that happened is I'm wearing a hat.
You are.
Okay, and that's not normal. I don't wear hats often, and I really don't wear them on this podcast. But
why do you have that hat? What's it say?
It says, I don't know what does it say?
I think it's a sisu.
Sisu. It's a Finnish word. City of Minot a visit Minot is part of the push behind this. They were giving out free hats. And so they said if I wore it, I could have one. And I'm like, fine, I'll wear it. And so here I am. Here's proof. I'm wearing the hat.
The baby blue sisu hat.
Yeah. Well, honestly, I wouldn't have taken a hat, but the baby blue and yellow is just gorgeous.
It's a good combo.
Yeah. That's just gorgeous.
Reminds me of one of the Minnesota Twins alternate jerseys.
No, let's not insult my hat, buddy. Okay?
Hey,
we're not insulting the hat.
It's a nice hat.
Yes.
And so what is sisu?
Let's find out.
It is, I have it. It's a unique Finnish concept.
I have something bigger for you.
Go ahead. Yeah.
All right.
You do yours.
All right. Let's see if we can find out what sisu is.
Uh-oh.
Yes, we might be a small town, but we're a community of dreamers and doers. We don't wait for life to happen. We make it happen. Embracing what we have, making it the best, and being proud of who we are. We choose to make the most of all seasons. If it snows, build a snowman with your family. If it's windy, go fly a kite. If it's hot, go to the local ice cream shop and walk downtown. Having strength and resilience comes from our Scandinavian roots, our sisu. It's not just a word, but embodies who we are. Fly a kite in Oak Park? Why not? Paddle down the Souris River? Why not? Jam out at the pub? Why not? When others ask why, we boldly say, why not? Life is only as good as you make it, so get after it. Make something extraordinary. And better yet, celebrate it. With sisu as our guide, we turn challenges into celebrations. Life is only as adventurous as you make it. Let's make it remarkable. Why not Minot? The question is the answer. Come embrace your inner sisu. Come explore. Come live. Come thrive. Why not?
fun.
Yeah. So that's Sisu, man.
Sisu. I think, well, first off, I loved that commercial. The music was fantastic for it. I love it.
That's not the point of the tale.
No, and I just wanted to lead with that. I loved it. I was dancing over here. But so Sisu, it's the strength of will, it's determination, perseverance. It's a lot of things that make Minot. Obviously, why not Minot?
Yeah, they tied it into why not Minot. Basically, it's the ability to realize that Minot has everything that we need, and it's just a matter of us taking advantage of that, having that will to go and do whatever. If the wind's blowing, fly a kite. Whatever it might be, you have it here in Minot.
Yep. Let the wind take the sail as it may. And I think that was a great little thing. Also, the one thing,
if you want to see it again, you're able to go. It's on the city's YouTube page. That's where we stole it from. So
and. The only thing that minorly is confusing to me, and I don't know if it is even that much, Finland and Finnish isn't a commonly thought of Scandinavian heritage in this area.
Are they technically Scandinavian?
Yeah, 100%. So I think it fits and it works in that regard.
Yeah. No.
Obviously their flag is
if you mention Finland, then nobody's gonna really know. I think it. Yeah. I mean. All right, yeah. There's questions that can be asked, but I'm gonna choose to be positive on this one, Kyler.
I said I like it.
Way to go! So I got my free Sisu hat, and I'm wearing it.
I like
and
Sisu.
if you want me to wear your hat, then maybe we can work that out.
I'll even consider it. Maybe I don't like. If you have a headband, that's where it's at. I will rock that all day. Swear to God.
All right, so
Sisu.
Around, like I said, potentially around 8 o'clock, maybe a little bit after, we're going to have Rob join us. But let's move on to city council stuff.
Before we do, I just want to point one other thing out before we take off on the state of the city. I just love the fact that Mayor Tom Ross quoted a couple of people in his speech. Three specifically.
I believe.
Yeah, he did. But the two I wanted to really note were Nelson Mandela and Eleanor Roosevelt.
I mean, why not Henry Ford?
I mean, it just feels a little more... I don't know. These are the two political ones that feel. I don't know.
He just cares about politics.
Of course, that's what I do.
Well, okay. Then there's something that I almost called you out on the show, but it didn't matter.
Do it
from the live this morning.
Do it now.
Yeah. That's where I'm going, because you were talking about 150 years ago when Teddy Roosevelt was doing stuff.
Yeah,
that math doesn't math.
It doesn't. It's like 110.
Yeah. I felt like that was substantially off.
It was. I don't deny it. And if I would have, I thought about it sitting here. I was like, man, I said 150.
Yeah, I think you got a little excited. You were going to make a point, and
yeah, the numbers just flowed out of the mouth a little bit. And I got a little. He was alive 150 years ago.
If it actually mattered, I would have called it out. But it did throw me off. So I guess in that tactic, it worked.
Yeah, I had.
Because I'm like, wait a minute, come on, man, that's not right.
It worked out.
About the middle of the 1800s there almost.
We were pretty close, yeah. At this point already.
Just getting out of the Civil War.
It's like Custer
Teddy Roosevelt showed up.
Yeah, he wasn't even in Midori yet at that point, 150 years ago. Oops.
Okay, State of the City. Or, that was the State of the City.
That wraps it up for me.
Going to city council meeting from Tuesday night.
Wow, that was an eventful meeting.
Yeah.
If anyone hasn't watched it, we'll get into it in depth here. But one thing just of note, it has over 1,400 views on YouTube, which in the context of Minot City Council meetings
it's about 3 to 14 times larger than normal.
Yeah, especially in a 2-day time frame afterwards.
Yeah.
It was feeling like it was going to wrap up about 45 minutes in, and that's when it went not off the rails, but it's when it really got to the point of things happening. But we'll start off early. It was blast through the first kind of part of it. Mayor Ross thanked first responders and engineers because on Monday there was that really bad water main break on Fourth Avenue.
Yeah, somebody said there's like several feet of ice they had to dig through.
I believe it. Speaking of that, did you see the pictures from Detroit, Michigan, where a water main broke on a road that's kind of like in a divot?
Yeah.
And there's like 4 feet of just standing ice there.
Yeah. That's brutal.
Just want to say, shout out to Minot's Civil Works crew.
Is that what we're going with?
Minot's Works, all the first responders.
Works.
Public Works. There we go. Thank you. You saved me, Jonathan, because clearly you can see what happens if they don't respond in time and get these problems cleaned up. It can turn into an utter mess. So that was where they started off. One other thing they kind of rolled into, they got the Minot Police Department conversation happening. They brought up Captain Dale Plessis. He was talking about some of the minor changes that they're making. They had a real big meeting where most of the police department was there. Everyone kind of got on board, and he's getting I think 3 different of these working groups that they're called together. It's like little committees inside the police department where they're going to try to set a few different issues that are going on and try to get them resolved. One of them specifically, and we'll get into this a little bit deeper in a minute, is they're working on renovating the building that they're in right now. Not a full renovation. This is working on plans for it, because if anyone isn't aware, where Minot Police Department is, that's the old location of City Hall. It was upstairs from the police department, and that's been unused since the city moved to the new location. Yeah. So they have a team working on figuring out how they could best utilize that. They could turn part of it into their gym and workout facility. Gotcha. And I think that would be a great first step there.
Right.
And who knows when it'll end up happening, but there are also a couple of bigger issues with the police department that, with the building and the police department. Right. There are some HVAC concerns. That's one of them. There's some accessibility issues that potentially could go against some ADA issues in state and federal litigation. So nothing necessarily today needs to be done, but it's definitely a thing that it at any time could become a bigger issue. Right. And we'll get into that in a little bit. But after that, the Minot is working on hiring a new HR director. For anyone that isn't aware, we are in need of a new one. So that job is posted out and about. Feel free to check it out.
Feel free to apply.
Yeah, go for it. I heard it's on Indeed for sure. I know they mentioned that. After that, there was a couple of zoning stuff that they took care of. There was a noise ordinance that they hammered down for in-town stuff. They got the decibel levels. Finally. All 15 consent items went through easy as could be. One thing that was interesting to me was a landfill site agreement that they had. Okay. It was with the old city landfill, which is right by the Mesa Arena. Mm-hmm. And the plan with it is to turn that into a park. I guess this has been something that's been in the work for 7-8 years at this point now, and they want to turn it into a Frisbee golf course, have a biking path, have a walking trail over there, kind of try to do something with a lot of that unused area that's right to, what is it, I believe the east of the Mesa Arena or the south of it, one of the two.
Dude, I've never seen this job for the HR on Indeed.
Uh-oh. I heard.
Did you find it?
No, I haven't even looked.
Yeah, no, I heard it was on there.
Yeah, that's what the city manager said.
Is it ZipRecruiter or was it Indeed?
I swear I heard Indeed.
Well, don't swear.
I would, if I were a betting man, I would bet on I heard.
I wouldn't suggest
Indeed.
you bet either.
Well, probably not. But
anyways,
what if I win?
Okay.
Anyways, though, yeah, I think that's interesting on how they're going to play that out, because one of the big things on why it hasn't gotten done yet is there's obviously a lot of EPA regulations that go into place when you're building something on top of an old landfill. That has delayed the progress over the years, and when it was first originally supposed to start really getting that ball rolling was during COVID. So obviously that takes everything that they were doing and throws it into the backstop. Yeah. So now finally it's kind of starting to get rolling. I assume this is all well and paid for at this point, so it'll be interesting to see that kind of happen, because I love Frisbee golf. I would love to see another Frisbee golf course.
Dude, are you good?
That's relative.
Yeah, like where do you play?
Polaris Park here in Minot.
What do you shoot?
Normally about in -1.
Hey, so you're all right. That's a fairly easy course.
Yeah, it is.
But
I've been to Bismarck a few times, and that's a whole different.
When you get to the, I've played Polaris Park, and I got a hole in one there once. Nice. It was complete luck. It was hole 3.
Were you here when that used to have the tree row?
How long ago was that?
Years.
Like 10 years, 15 years?
Post flood, but years, yeah.
It was after the flood?
Yeah, because right on hole 3 at the Polaris Park, it's just a wide open field. Yeah. Before there used to be a row of trees, so you couldn't see where the hole was.
Gotcha.
And my brother back in the day got a hole in one on that same hole. I've never done it before.
Yeah. I got it lucky. I threw as hard as I could. It went into the thing. It was crazy.
My guy just launched it into orbit.
Right. Yeah. No, that's epic.
Yeah.
We'll have to do that one time.
Should we have, that'll be, special presentation. The Dakotan goes Frisbee golfing.
Yeah.
It'll be a blast. They discussed some legislation. One thing that they were talking about was Bill 2350, which we've talked about here on here before. That's the public records bill. Alderman Blesson cleared some stuff up, said a lot of the similar comments to what he said on our show last Tuesday. So if you haven't seen that, make sure you check it out. We had him on for our whole Minot Talk last week. Great conversation with him. And then after that, this was all in the first 40, 45 minutes. It felt like it was really starting to wrap up. They got through all of the agenda items quick. Only other thing of note, the police department recruitment service has been hired, so that ball is going to, is getting rolling. Yes, that nationwide recruitment service.
Currently, we have the interim captain or chief, Dale Plessis.
Yep.
And then they're looking for the full
man
long-term
or full person themselves, whoever it may be.
Yep.
Look forward to that for sure. Now, are you ready to dive into the public appearance part of this?
Oh, the public appearances were crazy.
Yeah, there was
one of the more intense things that we've had in a while.
Yeah, without a doubt.
It made me harken back to the time when totally different things, but the last public appearance that stood out as much as this one, completely different reason, not important or anything like that, but it was when somebody stood up and talked about how we need to put catfish in the water because that might clean up our water. For some reason, that one just has always stuck with me.
It's just one of those that sticks.
It's an original.
It is.
It's just well done, man. Well done. And he had information that
was probably real.
That perhaps would support where he wasn't just whatever. So then this one was not funny. It was a very intense subject.
Yeah.
But that when we talk about public appearances, I always think about that one.
And that's a good one to draw to. It's very unique, and this one is also very unique.
Yeah, this one's been a problem though in Minot for several years.
It has. If you've frequented a lot of the online forums and groups in Minot on Facebook and other social media platforms, there's a good chance you've seen people talk about this. There's a gentleman that lives in town that has some developmental disabilities, and they make some suggestive comments to a lot of people, specifically minors.
But who knows? I'm not giving any justification, but they're located close to a school, so that could be part of the reason why minors are involved more.
Yeah, it could just be the sheer volume that's in the area there.
Right.
But regardless, that is what has been largely talked about. And there's also been a history of violence that he's displayed to the community, and there's been attempts from neighbors in the past to resolve the issue, but because of the situation that he's in mentally, he's unable to effectively take accountability for his actions just by the way that's defined in law and the ADA, Americans for Disability Act. A lot of that is where that comes from, and it's a really unfortunate situation, but it's coming to the point where something needs to be done about it at this stage. It has taken on a life of its own. There are people all
That's what's so sad about it, though, is the situation. And I if you want the full details on it, honestly, this one you're going to have to go watch the city council. We're not going to go and dive into all the details, but basically, as has already been documented by Kyler, there's been a lot of incidents and increasing, substantial amount of incidents in 2024 is 50 plus or something incidents just in 2024 that were called in, that were documented with the police department, and there's nothing that can be done because of the legal process, because he's on the spectrum is what was mentioned at the meeting. And he so there's also a feeling like he is not aware or whatever.
He's not, because of that,
fully cognitive.
And
so they cannot charge him fully to the same degree that you or I would be charged based off some of the things that he has done.
And for some of the things they can charge him with, it's to a much lesser degree.
So basically, what the gentleman was saying was that he can't sell his home because realtors were like, dude, nobody wants to buy this house because of him. So he's devaluing property single-handedly, because
apparently very constantly all throughout the day he will just be outside yelling at people.
But the realtors got to know,
they know,
right?
Yeah, they understand that.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, like, if I hired a realtor and they knew about that and they didn't tell me, I'd be extremely upset at my realtor.
No, 100%.
So just on that, it doesn't matter whether he's out or not.
It's just the fact that he's there.
Yeah, that, like, there's got to be a level of honesty that happens with the realtors as well. So it's just a not good situation. And so commendably, however you would say that, Mayor Tom Ross allowed him to go for past 5 minutes, and there was a lot of discussions had. Even the city attorney chimed in, and basically the best answer sounded like was that there is some legislation that's in Bismarck right now that might help provide the city to be able to take action against the individual, and hopefully create a solution that would improve Minot, which is still sad. It's just a completely sad situation. I don't know that there's no winners in this.
No,
it feels like.
And the flip side of that, something that might be happening in the interim before legislation happens in Bismarck, Catholic services here in town, they frequently, for lack of better words off the top of my head, take control of people who are unable to take control of their own finances and situations, and they help guide them, whether it be to assisted living, to different facilities with their medications, whatever it might be. And they've apparently applied for guardianship over this individual. And so it's just one of the situations where hopefully this can help immediately resolve it a little bit better. But it's it's not a fun situation. You can only help but feel for the neighbors and the people that live directly in that area. It's incredibly frustrating, and hopefully this can come and be resolved in a timely manner, because it's gone on far too long at this point.
Way too long. So very intense there. This is what we're going to do. We got more to talk about.
We do.
And we even have special guests and all that jazz.
We just came in.
And so what we're going to do is go to a 60-second break, and then we'll be right back. And after that, we'll have Alderman Rob Fuller tell us everything we need to know about everything.
Yes, it's going to happen.
It's going to be incredible.
Make sure you stick around.
All right, we'll be back in 60 seconds.
In the demanding world of oil and gas, precision, safety, and efficiency are non-negotiable. Unmanned operator drone services revolutionizes how you monitor, inspect, and manage your operations. With cutting-edge technology and expert operators, we deliver real-time data, detailed reports, and actionable insights for our valuable clients. Why risk the safety of your team or waste precious time? Our drones access even the most challenging areas with ease, reducing downtime and enhancing safety across your sites. We take the guesswork out of your projects by offering LiDAR, mapping, and inspection services so that your projects stay safe, on budget, and on time. Unmanned operator drone services, where technology meets safety, precision, and efficiency. Contact us today to elevate your...
Oh, my bad. We didn't mean to play this again, but... It's a great ad.
Oh, we're back.
Well, hey, he's here. How are you doing?
Welcome in,
I'm
Rob.
good,
Long
thank you.
time no see.
Yeah, twice in the same day. You guys better be careful. Somebody might start to think I know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
What the heck's happening here?
Well, that's why some people voted for you.
Not many. Oh, wait. Oh.
Well, I mean,
enough.
enough.
I guess. Yeah, enough.
Welcome back. How's your night been?
It's been a busy day. So after we had our roundtable this morning, then there was the state of the city. Did that, and I had to pick up kids, get one of them to the dentist, get them home. And then I had library board meeting at 4:15. I got done with that.
How was that?
It was a typical library board
It happened.
meeting.
It went
a little bit different today because we had some folks in there to talk to us, so we got to hear from them. And then I did something between that, and then I had the Ward County Planning Commission meeting, which I just came from, and
Now you're here.
Gosh,
now
you've
I'm here.
been busy today.
It's a part-time job.
Yeah,
It's
not
a
too
couple
bad.
hours a week is all
Pays
you gotta
pretty
do.
good for being a part-time too, is what I heard.
Yeah. So
You can attest to that one.
yeah. Hey, $1,000 a month.
All right. Hey, so we've been talking about the state of the city.
Okay.
Do you have any? We've been really talking about the city council meeting, but before we get into that, do you have any takes from the state of the city from today?
Well, I thought Mayor Ross did a good job. I thought the speech. Again, it's the state of the city. We talked about a lot of things that weren't city related. And so that's, and I realize he doesn't write his speeches and everything like that. And so there's a narrative we want to talk about. But I thought Tom did a good job. I was surprised that there wasn't as many people there as there had been in past years, and I don't know if it's because of the cold or people are just disenfranchised. But
And that was one thing we kind of noticed too, was just the
What do you think is because of the cold?
well, I'm sure that has something to do with it, right? When it's -10 below out
Yeah.
or -20. I mean, even though today wasn't that bad.
it was beautiful at like 2.
Yeah, when we got out of there. But I mean,
Exactly.
you know, so I'm sure that played a little bit of it. It also is in the middle of the afternoon on a Thursday when most people are working.
Right.
So
Is there a solution to that? Somebody commented about that. Donna said working folks just can't take off. Do you really think that it should be moved to the evening? I feel like it's a thing that's fine to be done in the afternoon.
well, I'm not opposed to that, but you know what? And I mean, this is going to sound weird, I know, but maybe that's something you do it once a year. You push it to a Saturday afternoon.
Yeah.
You know, like
Right.
one time
Do it on
year.
a weekend kind
You
of
do it
thing.
on a
yeah.
weekend thing, and you get more people to buy in and show up and maybe have some input. So
Yeah. Oh, that's fair. So you felt like Mayor did all right.
what were your guys' takes on it? I missed them.
We felt like it was a lot of talk about now and not necessarily talk about
What's coming.
actually what's 2025 is about. It felt more like what 2024, and honestly, we're talking about renovations done at the baseball Corbett Field. I mean, that's been done for a while.
Yeah.
So a lot of stuff that has built mine up, and I think that was not bad to mention, but it was like, okay, we get that we're in a good spot, but how are we going to continue to grow? That's how I felt.
Yeah,
But those are some of the stuff that we'll talk with Mayor about directly
Yeah.
and ask those questions. And I think he'll have some good answers on it.
Absolutely. I mean, you know, again, it's the state of the city. And I know we're a regional partner. I think that's the
Yeah.
term they use. We're a good regional
Yeah,
partner. So, I mean, we talk about the other communities and everything surrounding us, and that's fine. But I would kind of like you guys, I would like some more details in the direction that the city is looking to go in this next year or 2 years.
Yeah.
Versus a look back at 24 and what we have done or did do.
Right.
'Cause there's a big budget process coming up again already.
Huge budget
right
process
around the
coming
corner.
up, yeah, within a couple months.
You guys made some real cuts last year, and
We actually didn't
not
make
a lot
any
of cut.
huge
No, that's
cuts.
the thing. It was
Yeah.
just more of making the necessary changes and taking things out that didn't need to be there.
Yeah.
Do you think we can expect? We talked about this a little bit before, but do you think we can expect a loose parallel to that this year?
I would say it's going to be a little bit tighter, not
I-
loose. I
and
mean,
that's-
when I say that, what I mean is I think what we're going to do last year being our first, Mike, myself, Scott, our first budget process in the council, got our feet wet. We felt like we were able to affect a few things, get some money back to the people. This year, I think we're going to go and be a little more aggressive with some of the cutting. You know, hey, we want this. Well, then you got to give up something else to get that. You know, I mean, you know, and as Alderman Blessum said the other night, you know, this idea that we want to throw away a building or the use of a property because it's 50 years old when over in Europe they're using buildings that are 1,000 years old. That makes zero sense to me. So I think this time in the second iteration or go around, at least for me, I'm going to be looking to make some actual budget cuts,
Okay.
you know, to start getting it down a little bit because we're at 228 million. There's no way we can go up. I would like to see, honestly, a 10% reduction
Sure.
In our overall budget.
Get closer
Wow.
to
We
that
get
too.
there? I
Wow.
don't know, but
So how does the property tax bill, and obviously it's not done, so you don't know, but just say it passes.
Yep.
Okay. The governor's plan, as we call it.
you're making friends.
Yeah.
Won't reply.
How does that affect your view on if property taxes should be cut locally?
Well, it affects my view because my view is, yes, property taxes should be cut locally. I mean, property taxes are too high here. We use property tax. Ultimately, I know it's only feasible to use it for certain things, right? First responders, city services, those types of things. But, you know, we've gotten to the point now where we've taxed people into a point in their lives where they don't feel that they can go any further, right?
Right.
They have to make choices, and that isn't acceptable to me as a city council member. That is why I ran, contrary to all these reports that say different things. But
I thought you were doing it for the police department.
yeah, so cute. So you know what? Yes, we have to get property taxes down. I think we're going to be able to give some money back to the folks again this year, and you know, because there's a portion from last year that we're carrying forward to this year. But I think we're going to have a surplus this year, which again tells me that we are overtaxing and underspending.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's
crazy.
not bad. That's not bad.
Yeah.
In a
But it
vacuum,
isn't
yeah.
something you want to do continuously.
Perpetually.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so that's where we've seen that now 2 years in a row. And so now I think that we can start to attack some of the. Can you guys hear me? Okay, sorry.
Hopefully.
Can you? We start to
Nobody's
attack
whining
some of
yet.
the areas where we can start to cut these things back.
Yeah.
So
For sure. So do you feel like potentially part of the 2025 budget should be increase in salary for city council or mayor?
No, you'll never see me sit on the. Well, I'll say this, and then to Tom's credit, or anybody that's the mayor, that job, and they do make a little bit more than the standard city council member, but that job is a full-time job in itself.
100%.
You know, the things that they have to go to on behalf of the city, you know, the police swearing-ins, all the different things.
And
They
he
make a
kind
little
of-
more, and remember your point, but according to the City of Minot agenda, because we have open records and we get to see all this stuff, right? Ross makes $1,500 a month, and council makes $1,190 a month.
Yeah.
So it's a little, but it's
It's like
barely,
$300
barely
or
covers the
something.
gas.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, and for the time commitment. So you'll never hear me
Right.
as a member of the city council say, hey, we need to get paid. We need
Yeah.
to.
Yeah.
But at some point in the future, if we're going to put the demands on the mayor the way we kind of do as far as all the
Mm-hmm.
things they have to go to, I think compensation, at least for that position, should be a little bit more. And I'm not saying a full-time job where they don't
Yeah.
have to have anything.
No.
But, you know, maybe we have to pay the guy $25,000 or $30,000 a year. or
Also,
something.
Right.
I'll say it. This is one of the first things that we talked about when I started doing
Yeah.
these podcasts with you last April or May. Was what is the possibility even of a full-time mayor in the city,
Yeah.
in the
And
state of North Dakota?
That was
even?
basically shot down.
And it was, yeah, when we were talking about it, and it was like it could never happen, especially if Fargo doesn't do it.
Right.
I think all the major cities in North Dakota should have full-time mayors at this stage. I think it's at the very
Yeah.
least the top 6.
But and I want to hear what you had to say on this, but I think just the idea that when you go through the payroll of the city, everyone's paid well, and you're talking about all this stuff, and then it seems like, but the city council people whose workload just keeps increasing, it's just $1,200 is nothing, and it makes it
It's $1,003 after taxes, just so you know.
exactly right.
to
Yeah.
be specific.
Right. No, for real. And so it's, I mean, yeah, and we could talk about that too. So, but something's got to change, because otherwise it really does limit the ability for anybody to run.
Yeah, for who can legitimately go and do it.
Well, and that's a very valid point. I mean, if you want good quality leadership, right, which is I hope what we get and see out of the mayor in the city, you have to. I mean, most normal people have to work a job every day. So how do you do that if you have to work your job every day? Not everybody is going to be as understanding as like Tom Ross's place of employment or some of the other places, right?
Right.
And so yes, something's going to have to happen at some point, because, the other thing too is for the most part the way our city government is set up, where we have the city manager lead, city council report type thing. It would ultimately be good to see a little bit more buy-in from the city people with the mayor, like as the liaison between the council, like, hey, this is where the council wants to go. City, this is the direction we'd like to go. Because right now I feel like it's the city comes to us and says, this is where we want to go. What will you guys give us?
Being a driving force rather than a facilitating force.
Yeah,
Not saying anything.
Well,
but just
not
generally.
even just being a driving force, because driving force gives the idea that you get behind and you say, go do it.
Sure.
Being a visionary.
That's
so
fair.
starting
being the leader.
Being the leader.
Yeah.
Right. And that's one thing that I've noticed about it is it's so interesting. And I think it is most, we don't need to go into depth on this because we talked about it a lot, but when we had Rob Port on, we asked him the question, because there was a lot of negative stuff that was said about the investigation. I said, well, whose fault is that? And he's like, well, city council and city manager. It's like, okay, I get that. All right. But when you look at the process that City of Minot has, and I'm not trying to put all the blame on city manager right now, but what I'm saying is the city goes to city council and says, hey, we did the research, we found the guy, or the firm or whatever, blah, 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 can we go ahead and do this? and city council says yes or no. It doesn't, and maybe there's more that happens, but it doesn't feel like city council says, okay, sounds good, we'll take that. Now we'll go and have conversations with it. And I'm not saying that that needs to happen, but my point goes back to, it is a lot of, all right, what are you guys looking to do? Does it fit the budget? Does it fit the goals that we've set? Okay, sounds good, let's do it. And
I agree with that. I mean, to your point, what Rob Port said is, for the most part, at least the way I see it, we will give financial backing and say, hey, yes, we'll give you the money to go do this. We aren't included in the decision-making process.
Right.
We're included in the, hey, are you guys okay with giving us money for this? If there's no money requirement to it, they don't ask us.
Right.
They don't say, hey, what do you guys think? When we were looking for an investigation firm, and again, I'm not slamming anybody or throwing anybody under the bus, but it wasn't like, hey, we found this firm, this firm, this firm, and this firm. What do you guys think? It was, we found this firm. They came highly recommended. This is what we want to go with. Okay, we'll take your recommendation and do it.
Right, yeah. And so that's an interesting thing, and it would be interesting if that dynamic changed at all. It sounded like you were kind of hinting potentially that might be something that needs to be looked at.
And, that becomes so tough because, like, in my mind, what would be the easiest thing? The mayor is a party to that, right? The mayor sits down, and him and the city manager or whoever the city manager appoints work through the process, and then the mayor can, come to the council members and say, hey, again, not violating open record or open meeting laws or anything like that, but say, hey, this is what they found. Do you guys want to do any research? Do you want to have any more input? But it doesn't necessarily go that way. So.
Right. Yeah. Very good. Did I interrupt you?
No, you're
a
good.
while ago.
No.
Okay.
I think I made my point back
Sounds
then.
good.
That was a minute
Cool
ago
beans.
now.
All right. Very, very interesting discussion there. That's kind of the state of the city wrap up. Anything big that you want to see happen in 2025?
Me personally?
Yeah,
I want to see the
regards to
budget
city.
go down.
Yeah.
I want to see the budget go down. I want to see our police department heal and get back on its feet. I want to see
2 new officers at the police department.
Yep. Very good.
Great to
both
see.
One of them was a former minor police officer. He had moved away, moved back, and asked if he could come back. And the other one was I don't know if he was retired, but he was an Army vet, a military police cop. So both
Good
of those
experience.
guys
Perfect pipeline.
already have experience. They do a little bit of a refresher training course.
Yeah.
Don't have to go through academy. So, I mean, that's great because we got 2 people that don't have to go through the long, drawn-out process of training and everything. They've already
It's
been
like
through it.
around 500 hours.
Oh, it's a
Right.
lot because just in the brief conversations I've had, from what I understand,
Go ahead.
they bring them in, they go through the whole process to see if they can hire them. After they've offered them the job, they do a mental evaluation and stuff like that, and then they come in, and once they've hired, they go through some orientation. Then they do. And I may get this wrong, so if I get it wrong, forgive me. I'm trying to remember it all. But they do the orientation stuff. Then when Academy comes up, they send them to Academy. Then they come back from Academy and they do some in-house stuff. Then they do the in-field training. And it's about
a lot
year.
of work.
It's
Yeah,
about
wow.
a year, I
Okay.
think, before they're probably ready to get out and go on their own and feel comfortable.
Okay. That's crazy.
So when you get 2 people like this that come in with very little training, I think that's good, especially when we're down as many officers as we are.
Yeah.
So.
Makes sense.
I was just going to ask if you knew if that 500 hours was the for sure number. Because I have just a comparison to make on it. And if it's not, we can just...
So what I've seen is the city of Minot posting when somebody has completed and it's like high 400 hours of training or something.
Okay.
And that's what
think
I
I've seen
was
that too.
basing it off of. So I don't know for sure if that's exactly what we're talking
So
about.
take this with a massive, massive grain of salt, a big rock salt.
Okay. Mineral salt.
Yes. But to become a licensed massage therapist in the state of North Dakota requires 750 hours of schooling.
So you got to do more schooling than a cop does.
Yes. So I don't, and again, we take it with a grain of salt. We'll work on getting that for sure. But I don't know what, I just, that's interesting to me.
Yeah, that seems odd.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what to do with it. I just,
Yeah.
when you said those numbers, I felt like I had to say that.
I'll go
I don't-
find some numbers for you, buddy.
We'll pull it. Well, my laptop died. I'm sorry, or else I'd look it up. But
Yeah.
it's one of those days. But
So moving on to
City Council?
City Council.
Yeah.
Okay.
Lead the charge there, Kyler.
We dove in through most of it. I think the big thing that we'll get into public appearances. What's your general take on that whole situation?
I'm
with the
assuming you're
gentleman?
referring to Craig Gerhardt and his family.
Yep, and the situation with the individual.
So Okay, as a city council member, I had been read into that about a week earlier, and so I had heard everything. I knew how many calls there were, and I was stunned when I started hearing some of this stuff. I guess what's disappointing to me is everybody in the community, or most people, a lot of people in the community, know that there's an issue, right? But we can't get anybody to step up and say, you know what? I'm going to fix this. And when I say anybody, I don't care if it's a city person, a county person, one of the not the municipal judges, one of the judges, the state's attorney,
Whoever it might be.
Somebody needs to step up and just say, you know what? I'm going to take accountability for this, and we're going to do the right thing here. Because, again, I know Mr. Barstow has rights, and I firmly believe we have to honor those rights.
100%.
But what I wonder in my head is, again, to me, and I don't know what the mental deficiency is.
100%,
if he's
yeah.
like a schizophrenic or there's something else going on.
Whatever the diagnosis may be.
What it sounds like to me, and again, I'm not a pro or anything, but it sounds like somebody that might be not taking their meds and sitting at home and is bored, and so then he goes and causes trouble. Whereas if you get a hold of like Kalex, a group facility like that, and you have somebody to monitor the meds, and you have somebody to put activities in front of these guys and other people that are there, I don't know if we have the same issue.
Because even they offer a lot of out service
Yeah.
things where a person, someone that works for Calix just goes to the individual's house maybe 2 or 3 times a day. They set out the meds for them, make sure
Yep.
they have the meals lined up, and they're good to
They
go.
have various levels
Yeah.
of help, right?
Yep.
Sometimes it's just a check-in, sometimes it's an all-day thing, and sometimes you go stay with them for the day and whatever it is.
And they have group homes and facilities as well. It's a plethora.
As a city council member, I mean, the thing that scares me, and I know we talk, there's 2 things, but I know we talk about Mr. Barstow's rights, but when you begin to involve children, right? When you're having people try to pull children into their homes, when they go out into the street and push a 10-year-old over on his bike. So I'm very worried about something happening to a kid, but as a dad and a parent, I think the first thing that actually goes through my mind is I'm more worried about somebody taking the law into their own hands because nobody else will do anything.
Yeah.
And then we're in a situation where that person is in trouble. Somebody may have lost their life or been beaten,
However it might
whatever
turn
it
out.
turns out to be. When all we have to do is have one person step up and do the right thing.
Yep.
Right. So, I mean, why has it become so hard to do the right thing in society today? I don't understand that. I mean, and I will tell this to anybody that will listen. Mr. Gerhardt and his family, they should be brought up to the Catholic Church for sainthood, if they're Catholic. Because the fact that they have been so patient and so understanding about everything for the last 13 years, boy, I don't know many people that could have dealt with these types of things for that long.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and that's a fantastic point. I know you, along with Alderman Blessum and Pittner, pretty much all echoed those comments at the dais on Tuesday, and it's one of those things that you just don't want to see the wrong thing happen before the right thing can be done.
well, I mean, there's 2 possible outcomes here that we can't let happen, right?
Yeah.
Something happening to him or something happening to a child.
And neither should be acceptable.
No, and neither is, and we can't allow that to happen. So what does that mean? We have to do the right thing, and that's just going to take somebody stepping forward and saying, you know what, I'm going to go out on a limb here, or I'm going to do this, and I'm going to make sure that we protect the community and this individual and do what we need to do.
Fair.
So
Yeah, it has to be frustrating, that one, because of all the laws that are having to be worked through.
well, yeah, I mean, and there's all kinds of things. Mr. Barstow's been evaluated. They said he doesn't probably know right from wrong. Okay, he's got a family member that's a fiduciary responsibility. I would guess there's probably more responsibility that goes along with that, but they don't seem to worry.
Nothing
The way that
specified, yeah.
The gentleman made it sound, though, is he was beginning to understand that the law enforcement couldn't do anything to him, though.
That's
well,
what he
yeah,
was-
he's a smart enough guy to understand that, hey, guess what? They're going to cut me loose as soon as they come on,
Yeah.
and I think what Mr. Gerhardt may have been alluding to kind of at the end there when he was talking with Chief Plessis.
Mm-hmm.
I think in the last year, and again, just going off of the memory from what I was told a couple weeks ago, last year or 2 years, he's been arrested 10 times. And all 10 times the judge dismisses it because he doesn't know right from wrong. So at one point, the cops go, you know what? We'll go out there, we'll diffuse the situation, but we're not going to arrest anybody.
It's a waste of time. It feels
It's a waste of time and effort for everybody, right? And again, I'm not bashing on any of the police or anything like that. I mean,
because they're hamstrung.
If the court system isn't going to do anything,
very demotivating.
Why go through the process of the arrest? Go out there, diffuse the situation, get Mr. Barstow to go back into his home and
move on.
Right.
Right? So,
yeah.
I mean, that's what the court system has basically done.
Yeah.
Go home. We're going to move on.
So
I like one thing that Captain Plessis made a point of at the end too. He said, regardless, if there's a law that's broken, that's not going to be allowed to happen.
Yeah.
Like if any laws are, the law will be upheld.
But here's my thing too, and I appreciate Chief Plessis saying that.
Yeah.
Here's the thing though. They dismissed a Class C terrorizing charge on this individual. It doesn't matter what you arrest him for. Like Mr. Gerhardt was saying, is he going to be able to kill somebody and they send him home because he didn't know right from
and
wrong?
nobody wanted to answer that.
You know,
then the lady that followed Mr. Gerhardt had said that apparently he'd been, they tried to put him into jail at one point, and it was said that he wasn't fit for jail. I'm paraphrasing.
You can't
a little,
put him in jail. They'll hurt him in jail. Well, if he can't be in jail and he can't run his own finances, maybe somebody needs to look after him. You know,
Right, yeah.
And that's all we're asking.
That's
Right.
kind
Mr.
of
Gerhardt, the family, and now the city.
Yep.
That's all we're asking.
That's kind of the next steps that are happening right now. Hopefully that gets resolved in the next couple days or week or so here.
Yeah, it sounded there was a couple quick discussions after the meeting on Monday night. Myself and the city attorney and a couple other folks, and there are avenues they are proceeding down to see if we can't get this, whether it be one of the judges, whether it be saying, hey, to the brother, if you are the responsible guardian and you aren't going to do anything, then we're going to force the issue on you, which will force them to do something. Or if we can get the state's attorney to possibly have them involuntarily committed or whatever it may be. But again, I think the easiest solution is if you get the guy, he doesn't necessarily have to live in a mental institute. If you get the guy into like a assisted living facility for developmentally disabled folks, and you make sure he's taking his meds and you get him activities to do and people to be around, I don't think you have the same issues. I mean, I worked for development homes in Grand Forks, North Dakota for 3 years when I was going to college over there, and I worked with individuals that lived on their own but needed supervision. So I have a little bit of idea how it works. And I mean, again, most of them are really, really good, nice people, but if they get off their meds, some weird things can happen.
Exactly. Anything, it is. That's a great way to say it. And I think moving on from that, there was a big discussion with the new police department building too that took place afterwards.
The new police department building, or
the
existing police department building?
We were wanting you to tell us about the new one.
Where's the new one going to be at?
Right where the old one is.
And I think the one thing that to take away from it that I think is the best. I mean, HVAC systems will probably have to be looked at, but I think getting the available space that's upstairs and is unutilized right now in some form of usage would be the best first step.
Well, and again, Scott Samuelson, he had some drawings that their little group had been putting together. I've seen them as well, and gave us 3 different ideas. They literally, for 2 years, have between 4,000 and 7,500 square feet of space that is not being utilized. Wow. And they're scrunched in there on their own. We're paying for electricity, we're paying for heat, but we're not utilizing the property. So, there's been some discussion and talks, and basically what it's come down to is, let's see what we can do. And again, I mean, they think they can do it for like $100,000 to $200,000. Some paint, some moving a wall, doing this, and boom, they're done. And we're saying, okay, what if we do $1 million to say $3 million? I don't know what it'll cost.
Yep.
But you fix the HVAC, you get the stuff moved around to what they think is going to be best and beneficial for them. You maybe have to do a little paving out front for some parking in front of City Hall. You got to put some security stuff in where
rework that little loop around there.
That's exactly right. And And what happens if we can get 5 to 10 years out of that place just doing that, right? I mean, so, and again, 10 years sounds like a long time, but it goes fast. But in 10 years, what's the significant thing about 10 years from now? Anybody?
There's something going on with the property taxes.
Yeah. Well, yeah, okay, besides that, no. So in 10 years, we will be out of NAS. Flood control should be done. Now that sales tax portion of the pennies will still be paying the bonds. But isn't it possible in 10 years then that we may have some use of our sales tax pennies to go ahead and maybe do something, whether it be a large renovation or a new build for them? But it buys us, this little bit of money buys us the time to make the decision, to see what the state is going to do all of these different things that are going to be thrown at us. It gives us the time to do that, but it gives them exactly what they need in the interim. And you know what? There's not one person I've talked to down there that has said, nah, just moving us into this and doing a little bit, that isn't going to work. We need a new building. They're all like, God, yeah, that would be great. All we're asking for is, to spread out a little bit from what we've been doing.
For sure.
So
take some of that space, utilize it a little bit more efficiently, maybe switch a couple things up to get a better flow going in there. And
well, and a couple of the things we've been talking about, I'm part of the wellness group task force thing, whatever they're calling it. And mental wellness is so tied to physical wellness, right? If you're not exercising, if you're not healthy, it affects your mind, right? And so one of the things that we've been talking about, we call it the low-hanging fruit, to help give the department a warm fuzzy, let's call it, right? We're talking about, right now, they have a gym down there, right? 80 officers, and their gym is as big as this room.
Wow.
Can you imagine 2 people being in there working out with all the equipment?
That's your maximum.
Right.
I mean.
And so most of them don't like to work out there, but they like to hang out together and stuff like that. So they'll go to a different gym together.
Gotcha.
So one of the things we're talking about doing is moving the evidence stuff so it's all together and in a climate-controlled area, putting in a nice big gym facility out in the garage space where evidence is now.
So it's not in the garage it's in isn't climate controlled?
There's heat in there, but I mean, it's cooler.
That's fair. No, I knew it was out in the garage.
When I say climate controlled, though, I mean, I think the warmest you'll ever get out there is maybe 50 to 70 degrees, somewhere in there, unless it's in the summer and it's 100. But
then it's 80.
There's garage doors there, so those aren't insulated very
Gotcha.
well.
No,
so anyway, the evidence is secured and it is climate controlled, the stuff that needs to be, but this would all be in where the old admin stuff had been. So then you put the gym in for them. And the other thing we were talking about doing with some of the other space that's available is putting in what's called a wellness rec room for them, right? If you go to fire departments, they have, because they stay overnight there, right? They have TV areas where they sit and they can play games, they can play cards, they can play video games, watch TV together. And that would be something I think that our officers have spoke about that they would really like. And so we'll have basically a room, put a TV in there, some video games, cards, whatever they want to do, so they can hang out together, because cops don't necessarily go to the bar. And so, I mean, that's kind of the national pastime in Minot, so I mean, they don't do that, so they got to find other activities. But, cops, once you become a cop, and this is part of that emotional support for law enforcement book that I've been reading, and I didn't realize this, but once you become a cop, your whole circle of friends is other cops, because anybody that you really hung out with in the past that may have been a bad actor or something like that, you don't hang out with them anymore. Like I went to lunch yesterday with an officer. They don't even like to go out in their uniforms, because somebody,
just the stigma that comes along.
Somebody he said while we were there, I know that young man behind the counter, and jokingly, hopefully I don't have any extra stuff in my food. And then I'm like, I don't think that's a situation, because I've been there multiple times with cops. But, those are some of the things.
Minot's a small town.
Yeah, and the police have to deal with. So, I mean, these are just little things that we can do, to help the department get into that well-being portion. We want to see them heal. So that we're talking about doing some of those things. And again, from everything we're hearing from them, they think that would work just great, and it would buy us the time to make the decision we need on what we're going to do long term.
Yeah, very good.
And that all got tabled until May-ish, right?
Well,
Sometime
not
in
all
May?
of it. So the EAPC portion,
with the
where they're
architect
going to
firm.
give us the big numbers on a 12 million, 25 million, and whatever the other projects, that got tabled. We said, let's see what the PD comes up with. We have a facilities manager in Minot, and so I had asked, don't we have somebody in the city that could maybe help us with some of this stuff? And I don't know if they misunderstood the question or not. I wasn't asking, do we have an architect in the city to design stuff? Because that isn't what we need. We need somebody
An
who
interior designer.
well, maybe, but I mean, hey, you can put a wall here. Yeah, I'll go get a contractor and we can put a wall here.
Yeah.
You can do that. Like, we have somebody in the city to do that stuff.
Right.
So it's not
And
like
some of
it's
them
a
might
heavy
be
lift.
willing to just help out.
Well, and again, I mean, whether the HVAC system or what was the other thing?
I know there was one other big
The
thing.
roof.
The roof, yeah. okay.
Those two things, all you got to do is go out and get a couple bids.
Yeah.
Right? And bring them to city council and, yep, go ahead.
Right,
That's what's going to kind of happen. So.
I know this is weighing on everybody's mind. It's 1-1 between USA and Canada.
Oh.
What period?
Second period.
Oh, we'll be able to watch the end of it then.
Yeah.
So there you go.
You guys better talk fast.
Oh, 2-1. 2-1.
Someone
US?
just scored.
USA just
Breaking
scored.
news. America's up.
2-1.
Look at that.
Hey, can you help me? What does Sisu mean?
I honestly don't know. But
Determination and perseverance. Pushing through hard
listen,
times.
You guys weren't paying very good attention to
I
me.
wa-
It is a
I-
Finnish word
it's a Finnish word. I knew that
that
part.
means we can overcome just about
Yeah.
anything.
We played the 2-minute clip that was from the City of Minot's YouTube page to explain what Sisu was.
Okay. Oh, I missed that then.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So that's the best we got today.
Okay. Fair enough.
What anything else on City Council yesterday? I think that's pretty.
You guys, that was the end of it, effectively. Yeah.
Well, I mean, we had a pretty quick meeting, honestly. At 6:30, I was like, oh, we're going to be out of here. But then the last two things took another
bit.
hour plus.
Yeah.
So
What'd you think about this morning's live stream?
I thought it was fun. I thought it was really good. I don't know, have you guys gotten any feedback? People seem to like it or not?
It seems like people want to do it again.
There's a lot of comments. I haven't looked at them yet. But I
a
saw
lot
there's
of comments. People didn't necessarily like my views, so
Yeah, that's
all right.
okay.
That's life.
I'm sure I'm right there with you. Right?
I bridged the gap.
Yeah. Well, we'll do it again next. We came up with a name for it. Let us know what you think.
Okay.
Unfiltered.
Ooh, nice. Unfiltered. So does that mean we can start swearing on the
No,
line?
that is not what that means.
Sorry, I have a potty mouth.
Sometimes it can slip once
Well,
in a
hey,
while.
there was
but-
one word that slipped. It was
Yeah,
pretty.
they
It
let
was
it
pretty big.
rip,
It
yeah.
didn't slip. It was intentional, actually. Not sure what happened over here.
Well, that Leif, he's kind of a bad actor. So. Yeah, I
We
said
love
it,
you, Leif.
Come
We
get
love you.
me.
Yeah. No, all right. Yeah, well, we were talking about it earlier. We're planning on doing it at least once a month, and
I think that's awesome.
Maybe even get up to twice a month. So that's gonna be pretty cool. Awesome. Well, anything big
Parting
that you
takes?
want to break for us right now as we come to an end?
No, absolutely nothing. No, I got nothing for you.
Okay. Well, it's always worth a try. It's always worth a try. Appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me
Yeah.
again, second time in today. So
Yeah,
12
busy
hours,
day.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think there was a lot that's gone on this week, so it was a good thing. Appreciate you coming on. Appreciate everyone that stuck with us watching this. Be sure to like and subscribe. We'll be back on Tuesday. Next week, we have
1
on
p.m.
Thursday, 8 a.m., we have Ollie Olsen.
Holy Larson.
Ole Larson joining. Sorry. got my Ole's mixed up. I apologize.
Holy Olson's the trucker. Or
Yep.
the tow truck
and
guy.
he passed away this year. Ole Larson.
Yes,
will be joining
former
us.
District 3 state senator, longtime big resident out in the city of Surrey, my hometown.
So that'll be exciting. Leif can't hear us over USA scoring. I'm sure.
Hey, Leif. Golf of
He's
America,
still
baby.
rocking it.
So that'll be cool on Thursday, and then on Tuesday it might just be Kyler and I, or we might have a special guest. We're not sure yet.
To be determined.
Oh, did you
It's in the
want
works.
to tell us who?
Well, we don't know. They're not confirmed. So,
We've had a couple of invites out there. We're floating it around. We'll see
Yeah.
what happens.
and then we got some other good guests on the way too. So be sure to stick around, like and subscribe. Thanks for watching this episode, and we'll see you next time.